Celiac disease, a painful truth, with insight from Alex Vlasic. Gluten is a protein composite found in wheat and related grains, including barley and rye. Gluten gives elasticity to dough, helping it rise and keep its shape, and often gives the final product a chewy texture. Wheat has been in the human diet for almost 105,000 years, but the wheat we eat today is a lot different than the wheat eaten in prehistoric times. Wheat has been hybridized during the last 50 years to such an extent that it is now containing an exponentially increased amount of gluten. Hybridization of wheat has also created new strains of gluten, which could be playing a big part in the increased rate of celiac disease.
The pain was pretty constant for a few weeks, and I just felt a lot of pain, but I was going to school, and then one day it started to really hurt, so we went to a doctor, a gastroenterologist, and she recommended that we go to the hospital just to check things out. And so on the way to the hospital, it was one of the most painful, it was the most painful time in my life. My stomach was, I had excruciating pain in my stomach, and I was just throwing up constantly, and on the way to the hospital, and it was through the city, which took forever, and eventually when I got there, it was pretty bad.
Celiac is an autoimmune disorder that can occur in genetically predisposed people. The ingestion of gluten leads to damage in the small intestine and is estimated to affect 1 in 100 people worldwide. The scary part is that 2.5 million Americans are undiagnosed and are at risk for long-term health complications. When genetically modified foods were first sold commercially in 1994, consumers were introduced to a new standard of food that looked to be a positive advance in society and a possible solution when it came to feeding the ever-increasing population around the world. Unfortunately, there were some unforeseen consequences that have gone on to affect 18 million Americans.
So when I got to the hospital, I was put in this room with about 5 or more doctors, and they were all from different professions, different areas. I was given morphine and painkillers because the pain was so bad. I had IVs hooked up to me. There were even cardiologists in the room because my blood pressure was so high that it was just off the charts because of the pain that I was in. And over the time that I was there, towards the end, the doctor called and said that she might think it might be celiac disease. My gluten level was 180, and it's usually under 15 for most people. And so she recommended an endoscopy and a colonoscopy, and so I was hooked onto this tube that went up through my nose and down my throat for about 2 days, and I had to have surgery to see what was going on.
The ancient grains that our ancestors once knew seem to be in the past as we move on in the 21st century to more modified sources of grain and wheat. For some, it has no effect, but for an increasing amount of Americans, we are discovering more and more cases of immune disorders. Because celiac is an immune disorder, it means that patients are affected for life and have to always watch what they eat. It can be hard to wrap our heads around what it would be like, but some do not have a choice. It means no more of the delicious pizza that Americans have come to love. Donuts, cake, cupcakes, bread, and many other good-tasting foods become off-limits. As a society, we have to understand that the alterations of food may bring positive returns, but they also contribute to lifelong disorders for an increasing amount of American citizens.
So obviously when I did leave the hospital after the surgery, they did find out that it was celiac disease. And to be honest, I was kind of relieved because I wouldn't never have to go through that pain again because I knew what I could do to stop it, and at least I knew that what I had, so I could learn more to do what was best for me. And so when I found out, I didn't really know a lot about the whole gluten-free diet. Some of my friends were doing it, so I did know a little bit, which was nice. Right now, both my parents are going gluten-free, and my whole family's trying to go gluten-free as well. Because, I mean, if you do read, like, the health magazines, it says that gluten is not something that you need. But, I mean, for the future, I'd say that I'm not, like, upset that I have celiac disease, because there's so many things out there that have recently come out now and that will continue to come out that are gluten-free, and there's just a whole lot more options than there used to be. So I mean, I truly do think there was a reason for this, that I did get celiac disease, whether it was something to do with who I was going to be in the future, but I look forward to my future.